Good afternoon, everyone, on a perfect day at Mile High Stadium, Denver, Colorado. Opening day 1988. The defending American Conference champions, the Broncos, to your right, ready to kick off to their arch rivals in the AFC West, Seattle. Dan Reeves, the head coach of the Broncos, looking to take his team to the Super Bowl for a third straight year. Only Don Shula has done that at Miami in the early 70s. Chuck Knox, his counterpart, has had problems here at Mile High Stadium. Everyone has. This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. We're set to go. Craig maligned much of his career, but the stats show in the rating system he's number 4 in the history of the NFL as a passer. Kurt Warner's his H-back, and he's had his best games career-wise against Denver. John L. Williams, a big, tough fullback from Florida. Largent, you know about him, on his way to the Hall of Fame, the best pass catcher in the history of this league. Broncos with 8 men up front. Gets some time, gets an out pass. Largent has the ball and dives ahead, and Steve Largent might have a first down. A magnificent player, Dan Reeves says of him. Watching him run patterns is watching an artist at work.
You see the streak continued, and every time he catches one, it's his own record. This is a delay outside. Randy Robbins was the man in coverage. It's just like a 3-yard reception. Good move inside. He beats the tackle of Mike Harden, picks up a first down. And he's basically been the only receiver that the Seattle Seahawks have had in their entire history.
Was a 4th-round draft choice at Houston. They cut him. He was on his way back to Tulsa to look for a job, and they called him and said, "We've traded you to Seattle for an 8th-round draft choice." And as they say, the rest is history. Okay, that's a rip. Largent slides back and makes the play. That is not the out-of-bounds line, that green line. That's the right field foul line for the Denver Zephyrs. That's a 15-yard throw and completion to Largent.
His second of the day. There's that right field foul line painted green.
754th of his career.
And counting.
Most all-time. He'll soon have the most yardage all-time. He's a bit behind Charlie Joyner. And he's 5 touchdown passes away, with 95 of surpassing the 99 that Don Hudson, the Packer Hall of Famer of yesteryear, had. He'll own all the records.
Oh my goodness.
Smashed hard, lording the ball.
Oh!
Mike Harden, the free safety, got him.
Boy, that hurts here. Don't. Leave him alone now. He's looking right back into the... Oh, he got hammered.
Another of his strong suits is his courage. Runs right into the teeth of the defense.
Well, he's moving his hands. He's going to have a headache, so that's a plus. When you look for players who get hit up around the head and the neck, when they start moving extremities, that's good news. But he doesn't think so. Oh, boy, that hurts. 11 years after you retire and 80 yards away, you can still remember what that feels like. Ugh. This is a little slant pass that Largent runs in. He's looking right back into the sun. The ball is thrown high. All elements of a shot like this. He does go after it. Whoa. We've had one go off on the stretcher, Clarence Kay.
Harden didn't go for the numbers either.
They never do. That's a free shot.
Last report on Clarence Kay, who was injured earlier, a tight end for the Denver Broncos, that he has a back sprain. Not a serious injury, fortunately, although at the time looked like it could have been. We have 5:58 left to play in the 3rd quarter. The Seahawks are a 14-7 leader over the Broncos. And their one-day Hall of Famer Largent is down after taking that hard shot to the head by Harden.
He is what you call exposed here, stretched out. The thing that probably helps him is that he really doesn't have any weight on his legs. He bends funny, but you can absorb a lot more punishment in the air than you can on the ground. Wait till he sees that one on film. He's played for a lot of years, and you see those on film, and boy, does retirement look good to you.
Largent still being attended to. Now playing in his 13th year out of Tulsa, 7 times a Pro Bowl player. Today he extended his own record streak of consecutive games with a reception to 153. I'll tell you, there's a lot of guys that won't go over the middle.
He always has. I'll tell you, if you put him in the NFL's computer, they got height, weight, speed. He fails. But every intangible that every coach is looking for,
they say that about him, Trump, but the thing about the guy, his greatest asset in addition to his intelligence and his work ethic is he is a sensational athlete. He might not be, he's not slow, but he's an extraordinary athlete. His hand-eye coordination, the drills he does, he has about 30 or 40 separate patterns that he runs, and he works on every one of them every day.
Yeah, but you line him up next to Mark Clayton, Mark Duper, some of the other great receivers you find in the game, and just say run a 40, catch the ball, you're going to take the other two before you take him, and he's the NFL's all-time leading receiver. Up on his feet, appears to be fine. And I'll bet he's back in there.
And we'll excuse the Largents if they turn the set off or leave the room, and that comes up on the late news.
Yep.
That hit. He'll probably sit out of play.
There's Largent checking his teeth.
Today, from the Kingdome, it's the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Craig starts with John L. Williams, number 32, and Kurt Warner, 28, in the backfield. What can we tell you about Largent? He's 85 yards away from establishing yet another National Football League career record. He already has caught more passes than any man living or dead in the National Football League. 2nd down and 1. Early second quarter. Looking for Largent.
No doubt that time. That's the first catch of the day for Largent for 11 yards. He's been open a couple of times prior.
154th consecutive game in which he's caught at least one pass.
Don't have to tell you how the crowd here in Seattle feels about him. He gets double coverage this time. Ross and Burris both on him. That's Kevin Ross, number 31. He just curls it up. Perfect pass that time by David Craig. Prior to that, he had him open over the middle, missed him for about 30 yards.
The irony about breaking the career yardage mark for Largent, if he doesn't get it here today and he needs 85 total yards on the day, he'll probably get it next week in San Diego,
where Charlie Joyner,
the home of Charlie Joyner,
the coach in San Diego,
the existing record holder. 3rd down and 6. Seattle 4 out of 6 on 3rd down conversions. Got a man, Largent! Oh, did he drag his feet magnificently. Lloyd Burris had the coverage, but that was vintage Steve Largent. Watch him drag his feet. 23 yards and a 1st down.
He's done this a few times in his career. Watch this. This is how a corner pattern is supposed to be run. Look at the move there. Breaks it to the outside. I don't see a white shirt in sight. That's how good that move was. And gets his feet down. Albert Lewis in first coverage. Burris is the closest. Great concentration to be able to do that. Looking at the ball and still managing to get your feet down. Hall of Fame receiver right there.
2 catches, 44 yards. He's 41 away from the all-time record held by Charlie Joyner.
You know, Sam, Steve Largent is a regular correspondent on this program now. Last week would have been his first week.
He did a great job. I told him he did a great job last week. He said, I don't remember it.
That's very true. As a player reporter, he would have been on last week, but he got dinked in the head, and he couldn't remember a lot of things at the end of the game. However, Steve will be with us in just a second. Let's take a look at his numbers going into today. Kind of a little sidebar and sort of fun for the fans is to watch this streak. And his streak of consecutive games with catches stayed alive today. It's 154. He is the all-time leader. Still in 2nd place as far as career receiving yards, not too far behind Charlie Joyner. Maybe another game. Yeah, he could break it in another game or two. And we're all looking forward to that. And as far as career receiving touchdowns, Don Hudson has the lead, but only by 4. So that could be broken by the end of this season, too. got a couple of plays we want to look at, too.
We'd like to talk to Steve about a few of the plays. We'll go down to the Kingdome and talk to him.
There he is. Hi, Steve.
How you guys doing?
Fine. One quick question. Any side effects from last week, or is that all behind you now?
Well, I just thought our defense did an excellent job against Elway today, and no side effects. I'm feeling fine.
That's great.
You'd always talk about the record and everything. Would you like to get that record behind you so that people would talk about other things with Steve Largent?
I really wanted to try to do that here in the Kingdome. It would have been a lot of fun to be able to break Charlie Joyner's record for the yardage here in the Kingdome in front of the home crowd, but it just didn't happen today, and that's unfortunate, but hopefully, we can do it next week or the week after.
It would be kind of ironic if you do it next week, because you broke his career reception mark against San Diego here in the Kingdome. Next week, if you break it, you need 50 yards. You break that in San Diego. Charlie Joyner's on the coaching staff there.
Well, what's really ironic is that Charlie Joyner broke the record that I'm about to break of his against us the same night that I broke the consecutive game record, and so he'll be on the sideline. Of course, Charlie's the wide receiver coach for the Chargers now.
It's like a beautiful script, Steve, isn't it? I'll tell you.
I wanted to ask you, is there a difference in the attitude on the team this year? You know, there was some concern about the fact that there might be a letdown after a big win in Denver, and there obviously was not a big letdown today. What was different about the ball club?
Well, let me tell you the big difference, Sam, as far as I'm concerned, over the teams that we've fielded the last 2 years, and that's our defensive attitude. Being able to have a good defensive ball club like we've had the last 2 weeks, it's like a warm blanket. It's a security blanket that you go into any game knowing that you're going to be in the game all the way. The defense is going to keep it close. They're not going to give up big plays, and so that really is, like I said, like pulling a warm blanket, a warm comforter over for you as an offensive player, because you know that you just need to put the ball in the end zone a few times and your defense is going to be able to shut the other team down.
We have a couple of plays that we'd like to roll and have you comment on. One of them is the corner route where they were in cover 2. I'd like to have you comment on that.
This was the touchdown to Brian Blades, actually, and it's all go is what we call it. All 4 receivers are running down the middle of the field. Dave's going to throw me the ball if we get a particular coverage. In this particular instance, I tried to draw off both defenders away from Brian, and he beat a very good corner in Kevin Ross. And I'm real happy for Brian to get that catch in his first touchdown in the NFL. And he's a great player, and he's going to be doing that a lot more for us this year and the years to come.
Steve, I have a question for you. When you're on the road, when you're traveling with this team, you've gotten so much national notoriety the last couple of years. Do a lot of folks come up and say hello to you and congratulate you, or can you go unnoticed into a restaurant in San Diego?
Well, it's a little bit easier being a small white guy in the NFL than it is to be, have huge biceps or something like that. So I can get around fairly easily. But it is fun to go to different towns and even to be introduced in an away stadium like in Mile High Stadium and hear some of the Bronco fans applaud when you come out on the field. And I just appreciate all that kind of respect that I've received over the years.
Steve, thanks for being with us today. We'll talk to you next Sunday at San Diego.
Great. Look forward to it.
Okay.
See you, Steve.
Steve Largent, our player report.
From sun-swept Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, the Chargers, their first game at home, hopeful of a win against the Seattle Seahawks, who come in 2-0. With Merlin Olsen, I'm Ray Scott. Delighted you're with us on such a magnificent day. The figures tell the story, and it is indeed sun-swept. Dave Craig, yet to incur an interception this season. Kurt Warner and John R. Williams are running backs. Steve Largent, and he'll be a story in himself this afternoon. Ray Butler, the other wide receiver, and the tight end Mike Tice. A lot of movement around in that backfield. Warner just moved from a left halfback position to the tailback. Fake, play action, and there is Largent. 23-yard pickup for Steve Largent, who is on the verge of yet another fantastic career record.
Largent continues to entertain us with his great catches. Has the ability to put that defender in his pocket. You can't even see Elvis Patterson, 34, until he finally comes into the picture along with Plummer to make the tackle. But that's what Steve Largent will do to you. Make you think he's running one pattern, and suddenly he's already into another.
And Paul Scansey, number 82, replaces Largent. First down, Seahawks, 45 of the Chargers. On first down. Now that's
Largent's second catch of the day, and he is very, very close to yet another NFL record.
Owns so many of the records in the NFL. But this man is just an artist. One of the things he likes to do is to look into the eyes of a defensive back and get the defensive back to look at him. And I said, why do you do that? He said, well, if they're looking at my eyes, they can't see my feet. And they don't know where I'm going to go.
1st and 10 as a result of the Largent catch from Craig at the Seattle 40. The records that Largent is approaching, the one he might get today, I would say, would be most yards. He only needed 51. You saw Charlie Joyner a little while ago.
That record updated, by the way. Largent closer than
19
51,
yards away.
Just 19 yards from that. One nice big catch would put him past Charlie Joyner. And I think Charlie would enjoy being here to see that. Charlie's such a gentleman. So many great years in the NFL.
2nd down 5, 45-yard line of Seattle. There's Largent. Now, let's see. That puts him over the top right there. That catch. That move. Oh.
Almost exactly 19. Let's see how they officially score it. It is 19. That's exactly what he needed.
Isn't that amazing?
By the record. And he answers, and there is Charlie Joyner. I don't think he knows yet how close Largent is and the fact that he may have gone over Joyner's record. Watch Largent's eyes and his feet, but look at him. He looks right into the eyes of Elvis Patterson and gets Patterson to turn. And that is the secret of Largent's ability. He makes those defensive backs do things they don't want to do.
I can't help but point out, Merlin, although that was a running play there, that when we were talking about Steve Largent and we showed the picture of Charlie Joyner, next to him Jerry Rome, that Largent says without Rome, nothing would have happened.
Without Rome, these records would never have been set. There is Rome in the center, Joyner on the right. You see Rome, who's concerned about his offense, and there are Largent's NFL records. Receptions, consecutive games with a reception. That streak alive here today. 1,000-yard seasons, 8 of them. Boy, I tell you, he just continues to impress us.
Now, coming out limping an instant ago was Les Miller of that important front line defenders of the Chargers.
Miller is maybe just, looks like they're checking his shoulder pads. Maybe he popped something away. Right now, the concern for Seattle is even though they've moved the ball well, they look up to that scoreboard, and you said it early, statistics can lie. The important thing, they got to get some points on the board. San Diego had 10-0.
There is a replay of Largent as he broke the record right there. 2nd down 5.
Here in San Diego, knocked down by Steve Largent as he adds that football and that record to his trophy case, which is going to have to be a big one. I'll tell you that.
And I don't know whether we have enough space just to show his records that he holds now.
He is rewriting the record book. What a gentleman. One of the nicest people in the NFL, and one of those people you enjoy seeing do well.
And it was very interesting. The first of his teammates to shake hands with him might be a young man who could go on to be a great receiver when Brian Blades, the youngster, the rookie, came up and said, in effect, congratulations, my friend.
Sure did. You know what's interesting about that relationship between Largent and Blades? Largent requested that Blades have a locker next to his. And he said, I would like to be able to help him as he begins to develop in the NFL. I don't think there'd be a better teacher than Steve Largent. And if Blades can learn to fool defensive backs the way Largent has, then he's going to be around for a long, long time.
And it might be highly predictable, but I don't know Largent nearly as well as you do, but I'm sure that if this game were to end with the Chargers winning, I would have to believe that the first thing Largent would say was, but we lost.
Of course. He's very, very team-oriented. And I would think that there is large concern, real concern on that sideline. I know Chuck Knox had a chance to play for him for a number of years in Los Angeles. I'm sure he was upset in the locker room.
Now Butler is in, number 33, and he's wide to the right on 2nd down 10. And the pass is complete to Butler, and he has a first down and more out to the 39-yard line. And meanwhile, Craig really was decked, and he has sustained at least a slight injury to his right arm.
You see him holding that right shoulder down. He really got buried. Here is Butler. Patterson working man-to-man. Does not respond well as Butler just floats to the inside in the zone. And going back, it was Gary Plummer, number 50. Watch it here as Plummer from the backside dumps Craig right on that shoulder. And that's why he got up. Ooh, he is in pain. That hurt.
Well, Lee Williams, how much does Williams weigh? My goodness, that's a tremendous weight. Whew. And
see him on the sideline. He is in pain, and we've got a new quarterback in the ball game.
Jeff Kemp will take over. There's a flag down. There it would be the lack of working together as much as Craig has worked with Largent. This time it's Jeff Kemp trying to hook up with Largent.
But what a sad mistake. As you see a bump that's going to cost San Diego a chance to take the football back right here on the punt. Someone did a little bumping job. That's Largent, who's trying to come back to help his quarterback.
Leg used to the hands, number 50, 5 yards.
Gary Plummer, the linebacker in the middle, taking the defensive calls, accused of illegal use of hands, probably beyond that 5-yard zone.
And the result, Kemp and company have new life after the penalty and an automatic first down at the Seahawk 44.
Jim Weitzel, the trainer on the far side, working on that shoulder of Craig's. And boy, this has been a tough season on quarterbacks already.
Jeff Kemp, in relief of injured Dave Craig, has completed 1 of 5 passes. There's Largent building on his lead as he had set a record earlier today, most yards by receiver, breaking Charlie Joyner's record. That was an 18-yard completion.
They're already into the 2-minute offense. They know they need more than a touchdown. Such an outstanding player had given them a 1-2 punch with Williams in there that was hard to contain. You saw Craig take the brunt of a shot earlier from Williams, and you've seen him bury Kemp more than once, but everyone else expected them to win. That particular scene right there bodes ill for not only Seahawk performances over the next couple of weeks, but if that is a shoulder separation and a serious one, that means that they will be out without Craig's services for a number of weeks.
Meanwhile, the injuries to quarterbacks around the league this and earlier weeks, plus some of the results today, has definitely just scrambled about everything.
Now here's Steve Largent. Look at that right eye. It is almost closed. Last week against San Diego, he was making a block for John L. Williams and got a thumb in the eye. Behind Kelly Stauffer in the huddle is Steve Largent. He has not caught a pass today. And during the break, the crowd, with their Largent for President sign, chanting Largent, Largent, to remind the coaches that they have not thrown a ball to Largent today. That streak of 155, now 156.
We are live at Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, for this afternoon's interconference battle between the Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons. Overnight and early morning rains have subsided and given way to partly cloudy skies with a game-time temperature of 70 degrees. Very humid down on the field, but surprisingly not as wet as we had thought. Hello, everyone. Kevin Slayton alongside former Green Bay Packer Jerry Kramer. Two teams with difficult losses a week ago. Seattle losing embarrassingly so to San Francisco, and the Falcons dropping a heartbreaker to Dallas. Both will go with some young players today, backups at quarterback. For Seattle, it'll be a rookie, untested Kelly Stauffer.
Kelly Stauffer has his work cut out for him, but so does the whole Seattle football team. Seattle was embarrassed last week. They had 154 total yards to San Francisco's 580. Kelly came in the second half, had 11 of 15 for 133 yards, and played pretty well. This is his first NFL start, and the pressure is on Kelly Stauffer today.
He's earned the starting job with a performance like that a week ago against the Cowboys. Stauffer on first down to the air. Guns it for Largent. The streak is kept alive. He's inside the Falcon 35. 157 consecutive games now for that man with a catch.
And
don't you like to see a streak stay alive? But don't you like to see it stay alive with about a 25, 35-yard reception instead of a little dinky flare pass or something like that? Watch Kelly Stauffer go back in the pocket. Steve Largent's got a lot of room. He must have put quite a move on the run on the defensive back there, Scott Case, to get that open.
Imagine an 8th-round draft choice landed the NFL's all-time leading receiver in terms of number of catches and in total yardage received. Stauffer 6 of 13 now, 118 yards, 3rd and 5. Not much success in the second half for him. There's Largent. Has the first down. Boy, Largent knows where those sticks are. Scott Case, number 25, defending. First down of the second half for Seattle, other than the one on the penalties.
Steve Largent, 13th year, mature, intelligent, poised. What more can you say? Gets the first down, catches the ball as he has 765 times now or something like that.
His old hat. Owns the yardage record for a career, the reception record for a career, and with 4 more touchdown catches will own that and become the first player in over 40 years to lead in all 3 of those categories at the same time. 6 defensive backs on 3rd down. Listen to this crowd. Largent with a big catch. Scott Case was defending, and again you hear the air go out of the Falcon balloon.
Big play by Kelly Stauffer. Stayed in the pocket, cool. Largent, of course, number 80, closest to us, going down the field. He's going to cut across the middle, and just good concentration, good hands, and the kind of thing that has made him one of the finest receivers in the history of the game. They're evident right there.
Here's the rookie quarterback, Kelly Stauffer, out of Colorado State. Kurt Warner and John L. Williams in the backfield. The wide receivers, Brian Blades making his first start, and the great Steve Largent. 3rd down 3. Paul Scansey in motion. He takes the handoff on the reverse. Largent falls down and fumbles the football. Cleveland's ball. Clay Matthews recovering the fumble for the Browns.
Kind of reminded me of Keith Hernandez running the base paths yesterday in the mud at Shea Stadium. Largent just lost his footing and then ended up dropping the ball, and Clay Matthews was in the right place at the right time. You'll see Largent is forced upfield. Clay Matthews read the reverse all the way. Largent simply trips, and Matthews is right there at the right time.
Matthews with a recovery at the 49.
One more look, folks. Nothing fancy here. Largent just trips up, then drops the ball, and Matthews recovers it.
Paul Scansey is in as the Seahawks go to 4 wide receivers. Another penalty marker down. Stauffer's pass complete to Steve Largent. So if the reception stands, that will keep his streak alive. His first reception of the day, good for 9 yards. And that would give him a catch in 158 consecutive games.
Offside, number 78 defense, penalty decline, first down.
Carl Hairston was offsides. The play stands, and so Largent's streak continues.
What a great player. He's breaking nearly every record that exists for receivers. I think the one he's going to have the most difficult breaking is the number of games where he has over 100 yards reception. He's 10 behind the great Don Maynard, who had 50 games of over 100 yards reception.
So he's now caught a pass in 158 consecutive games, a continuing NFL record.
2 first-place teams, the New Orleans Saints and the Seattle Seahawks, battle under the Kingdome before a sellout crowd of 65,000. 3rd down and 9 at the 47. Stauffer fires, pass is caught, guess by who? Largent, and it's good enough for a first down. 12 yards into Saints territory to the 36, where Reggie Sutton makes the tackle.
Well, this continues Largent's consecutive game streak, a record that he doesn't give a whole lot of significance to. What he really cares about is making the catch and getting the first down. Stauffer's got the really good arm, the ball that really carries to the receiver. He's very confident. He comes over the top well.
And for Largent, he has now caught a pass in 159 consecutive games, an ongoing record. So the offensive unit out there again for the Seahawks. They lead and have the ball on the St. 42. Kelly Stoffer drills it to Largent. And Largent dropped the ball. It's an incomplete pass. He did not catch it. He never had possession, and the official ruled incomplete. But that was a perfect pass from Kelly Stoffer.
A lot of shocked people in the Kingdome. They don't see this very often. This is a bullet pass by Stoffer right between the 0 and the 8. Largent took his eyes off it. Even the best make mistakes at times. One of the problems with Kelly Stoffer that the coaches say is that he throws a heavy ball. Now, what does that mean, Dick? That means he throws a ball that has a lot of rotation on it. So if you got the physics major up here with you, he could tell you what that means to the ball.
I'm glad I have you. Last year, they led the league in third down conversions. This year, they're near the bottom.
And this includes the games that their starting quarterback, Dave Craig, was playing. You can't lay all of this on the rookie quarterback Stoffer. Their entire offense has not performed well in the most critical situation in games, third down conversion.
Dave Craig with the separated shoulder, still on the sidelines and will be for a while. Third down and 6. Stoffer has his man, Largent. Milton Mack makes the stop. Good enough for a first down easily, 11 yards. Seahawks march on.
Stoffer is looking for Largent the whole way, and that's not a bad idea because this guy can get open against single coverage better than anybody in the NFL.
Stoffer to the air on first down. He's got Largent. Largent has the first down at the 31-yard line. Van Jakes defending. Thiesel replaces Bush at center for the Seahawks. Second down and 6 on the 16. Stoffer has Largent. Largent has the first down at the 26. Sutton covering on Largent. Second down, 8. Stoffer has Largent again. Once again, this Van Jakes is there. Wasn't going to get Largent out of his grasp. And it'll bring up third down. And Largent today has caught 5 passes for 54 yards as we continue to update the scores on the CBS Sports Wire. Second down, 15. Stoffer has Largent, makes a tough catch and goes out of bounds at the 26 by Van Jakes.
Very important for Largent to have a big second half. He was a little rusty there in the first half, dropped one ball, got a penalty called on him. But that, you just don't catch the ball better than that. Great concentration. And what he did with the catch is move the Hawks back into field goal position and into his position on the field of 3rd and 6. So it's really plays into the Hawks' hands as far as what they want to do with their four wide receivers coming up.
Now the Seahawks don't need 2 touchdowns, but they do need 2 scores. First down on the 20. Stoffer has Largent. Largent has it to the 42-yard line. A gain of 22. Reggie Sutton makes the stop.
Talked with Kelly Stoffer before the game, and the one thing that he knows is that they're just kind of force-feeding him the offense, that he is ready to cut loose. He wants to throw it every down. He's got that type of confidence in his abilities. He's showing us a lot right now. He's throwing the ball very well.
Good afternoon, everyone. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy at Anaheim Stadium, where today the Seahawks go against the Rams. The Rams are 3-0 career against Seattle. It's the one team in the National Football League Seattle has never beaten. Seattle started the day in a tie with Denver in the AFC West. Denver was beaten already, so Seattle at the moment has a half-game lead, depending on the outcome of this one. It is a perfect day in Southern California. Temperature in the 70s as you see the mark-off. And now the starting offensive unit for the Seahawks with Stoffer at quarterback. Kurt Warner and John L. Williams, their strong runners. Largent, the all-time record setter at wide receiver, along with rookie Brian Blades, who caught 8 last week against New Orleans. Spread formation. Stoffer with 2 wide outs to the left. He has yet to make a connection with Largent, who has 159 straight games. No sooner said than Largent catches a ball on 2nd down and 6. Good for maybe a first down. We'll see where they spot it. They spot it to the 21. It's a first down for the Seahawks as Largent now extends his record consecutive game streak to 160 with catches.
Carl Eckern makes the tackle. The other problem that Seattle is going to have is now the Rams can go to a zone defense, and you'll find most of the receptions are made when the receivers are stopped or turning back and facing the quarterback. So it's very difficult to get a big play against this zone defense of the Rams.
Not talked about a lot, but the #1 assignment of a National Football League referee who stands back there with him, the lead official, is to protect the quarterback. Here is a throw and a catch by Largent, who quickly signals a timeout with 6 seconds left. And a penalty marker down Trump in the backfield of the Seahawks.
I believe that's going to be against the Seahawks. They got Ron Mattis holding. The play is coming back.
Best pass catch combination today for the Seahawks is negated by the penalty.
That's a holding, 10-yard, 3rd down.
Yeah, that's against Mattis.
And now the Seahawks already in deep trouble. Start with the long field to go. 94 yards from the Ram end zone. Out throwing and throwing well. There's a completion out to Largent out to the 13-yard line. Linebacker Mark Giroux from the University of Washington is there to make the quick hit. Gain of about 6 on the play.
Dennis Mnuchin, our stat man, tell us that the longest pass that Kelly Stoffer has completed is 8 yards.
He obviously can. We might mention the streak is alive, Steve, at 160 games. I know the loss is more important than the streak, but you're thinking about the streak, aren't you?
Well, not right now, I'm not, that's for sure. I'm thinking about that disc jockey job right now.
Sam has a question for you.
Steve, there was a lot of talk about the Ram defense. How would you rate their performance today? Were they as tough as what you thought, or did they force you out of the game plan as far as what the offense wanted to do?
Well, we really shot ourselves in the foot early, Sam. We, with a couple of turnovers deep in our own territory, really gave them some easy touchdowns. And, even early in the first half, we basically were out of our game plan and forced to do something that we didn't want to do. This was the defense that led the league in quarterback sacks, and we didn't want to put ourselves in a position where we had to throw the ball all the time. And we got in a situation where we had to do that. And although, we did some things well offensively, still we're having difficulty putting the ball in the end zone.
Steve, does it ever reach a point during a game when the defense just kind of loses patience with the offense? Or is there just no exchange between the players as far as that kind of thing goes?
Well, I think that's a situation that could take place, Tony, if you were playing on a team where one particular team, whether it be offense, defense, or special teams, was playing outstanding and the other team was not playing well. But we're in a situation where none of our teams are playing very well. We're all playing pretty poorly, so there's no room to point fingers. And really, that's really one of the most destructive things that a team could go through. It's very divisive, and if we don't have any more character than to avoid that pitfall, then we're going to be in real trouble.
That's a good point. You are 4-4 with 8 games to go. Do you kind of just put those first 8 behind you and say, hey, this is almost like the beginning of the season?
Well, it's almost laughable to think that we lost as badly as we did today and we're still tied for first place in the AFC West, but that is the case. And no matter what the situation is, you've always got to put the last game behind you. It's history now. We've got to be thinking about the next game already.
Steve, thank you very much once again. Monday and Friday mornings on King 1090, every Sunday on this program. Your eye looks better, Steve.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Steve.
Today from the Kingdome, it's the San Diego Chargers versus the Seattle Seahawks.
2 minutes to go in the first half. Steve Largent, 160 games in a row with a catch, hasn't caught a pass so far, and we're late here in the first half with Seattle leading 3-0. 2 minutes to go, first half, 2nd down and 12. Seattle leads 3-0. Little play action fake to Warner, and the pass, Largent. Catches, fumbles, loose ball, and let's see if they'll give it to San Diego. Largent made the catch. Blades came back and appears to have recovered the football for Seattle, and so it's a catch by Largent, but a recovery by the Seahawks. Here's Largent on the catch.
See, he's run a great pattern on Seal. He literally twisted him around backwards. It appeared that he made the catch and then got knocked out of bounds. I don't know what the refs are conferring about.
Hardy's got the ball right there. There's the hit. And the ball loose on the turf. Then it was batted around, and the rookie Brian Blades came up with the recovery, and Largent's streak goes on now at 161. They are tied for first in the AFC West with Denver. The Broncos play the Monday night game in Indianapolis tomorrow. They're looking for Largent. Incomplete at the midfield stripe. He had it down low, and it was almost an acrobatic catch by Largent, who has one catch on the day.
Well, Largent got that one-on-one coverage. That's just like he's been doing all his career. He got inside, worked back out, was open for the catch, but the ball was just outside a little too much.
Indeed, the best ever, Steve Largent. He has now caught a pass today, so the consecutive game streak is up to 161. Looking to snap a two-game losing streak. 2nd down and 10. Warner didn't get anything on that first down carry. The ball is at the 11-yard line. Stauffer throws, and it is caught as Largent makes the catch out near the 20-yard line. His second catch of the day, and 10 yards should give them a first down.
Again, you're going to see Largent just running the slant on the zone. He gets in the seam and hangs there, but the great thing about the play for the Seahawks was the fact that Kelly Stauffer stood up in there with people hanging all over him and got that ball out to him.
With 7.5 remaining in the game. Spagnola comes in motion. Are they going to try it again? Well, down the field they go, and Largent makes the catch and is taken out of bounds by Sammy Seal up at the 32, and a first down.
Going to watch Largent drive down there. You see number 30, Sam Seal, inside outside on him. He's got him man coverage, but he's looking for help from the safety on the inside. Largent realizes that, just hooks it up and jumps to the outside and makes the catch.
17-yard pass play. Largent has that now on the day. 3 catches.
Largent makes it look easy, but it isn't, ladies and gentlemen. It's because the quality of the receiver. That's why he makes it look so easy. So he gets out of uniform, takes a shower, and becomes a reporter. And Steve, in the past, has done outstanding work. Sam, are you going to try to get him on a question today? Go ahead.
No, I never want to put him on the spot. But going in that last drive, it was a very important drive. What was the conversation like, and how that was one of the most impressive drives of the year for you guys, where you had to come up with something?
Well, we were still ahead at that point, 10-7, but we knew that if we could score some points, which we've had trouble doing the last 3 or 4 weeks, that we might be able to put it out of reach. And, you know, to their credit, they came back and scored another touchdown, forced the onside kick. But, you know, I think the thing that was positive about that last drive, Sam, was the fact that we had a big play that we thought was a big play on Brian Blades' catch down on the sideline that was called back, and yet we still marched down the field and made some plays and were able to put it in the end zone finally on John L's catch. And so, you know, it was a critical drive as it turned out in the game.
Was that big delay a distraction at all when they were trying to figure out where the ball was after they had already moved the chains?
Well, in the fourth quarter, you know, in some ways it is a distraction and breaks up the rhythm of what you're doing, but if you've been on the field a lot, you can use the break, so it's not too bad. But, you know, I told one of the officials that I really feel sorry for the officials, because I think that the instant replay has kind of undermined their authority on the field, so that, you know, their calls are always going to be questioned, as opposed to just saying, hey, I made the call, that's the way it is, let's get on with the next play. It creates a problem for the officials, I believe.
Steve, Kelly Stauffer's had a few weeks. His confidence seems to be growing. Is that reflected in the huddle? Is he calmer in the huddle now? Do you like the way he's working?
Well, I think when Kelly first started the first couple of games, obviously our offense was very simple, very basic. He didn't have a lot of things to think about other than the snap count, getting the ball, dropping back, throwing the ball, or handing it off to John L. or Kurt. Now we're trying to we're doing more things with him that we hopefully can do, and as a result, I think we're seeing a few more of the first-year quarterback mistakes, forgetting the snap count. I think there's too much stuff going on in Kelly's head, and all the things that you would expect from a first-year quarterback are coming out in the fourth game. But I think that's because we're putting more pressure on him as he's developed as a quarterback, and I think that you have to expect those kind of things.
Thanks, Steve. Great job out there. 3 catches, 37 yards today. We're keeping stats on you. And as a reporter, you are undefeated so far this year. I want you to know that.
Oh, well, thanks, Tony. And I like that pumpkin. Is that a Tony Ventrella lookalike pumpkin?
You may have given away the secret, Steve.
That's right.
We're not sure yet. Sam and I are trying to figure it out. There's no mustache, so it could be you.
This is the winner of the first Seattle Celebrity Pumpkin Competition. And can you guess who it is?
I can't tell from this angle.
Let's see.
Well, the lips aren't moving, so my guess is that it's not Tony.
That's a good point.
How about the proboscis? Does that give it away?
Oh, my.
I'm not saying a thing about that.
Thanks, Steve. Another great job. See you next week.
A sellout crowd has jammed the Kingdom in Seattle this afternoon for a battle between 2 first-place teams.
With Dave Craig still on the men, going with Kelly Stauffer at quarterback. John L. Williams, who had a big game last week, and Kurt Warner, the running backs. Rookie Brian Blades, and the all-time leading receiver, Steve Largent. They had 34 all of last year. They've almost approached that number to 10 this season. Stauffer showing off that arm, and a great throw for a first down to the 40. Steve Largent with the catch, and that keeps the streak alive. He's now caught a pass in 162 consecutive games.
Stauffer has had trouble working to the great receiver Largent. Largent losing a little of that speed. He was not a burner to begin with, but you can see that they're gradually starting to get more confidence in each other. Tremendous confidence. Stauffer won't get a chance to watch this pass. He's rudely taken to the ground by Cornelius Bennett.
And as important as the 38-yard pickup is, so is the fact that they get the crowd back in the game with that big play. Third and 19. And the Bills will be coming hard again.
You better believe it.
Stauffer scrambling away from the pressure. Bruce Smith chasing him as he fires downfield. He wants it. He had it and it was knocked loose. They're going to roll. It's a catch.
They're going to say that the ball bounced loose after Largent hit the ground. And I think the first thing to hit the ground might have been Largent's head. Let's take a peek at it. Largent streaking downfield is going to come back against the grain right here. Coming back to his quarterback. Now watch the hit from behind right here. 2 defenders. That's Kelso, number 38, on the outside. Let's see if he gets a foot down. 1, 2, absolutely. 2 feet down, and then the ball bounced loose after he hit the ground. And I think they're replaying that, but I believe they're going to say yes.
Royal Cathcart is the replay official. The Seahawks felt they got burned 3 times last week on replays.
They surely did, so they're happy to see one go their way. Now they're going to measure this to see if it is a first down. But watch again the great concentration of Largent. Let's see if we can mark that ball visually. Look like it's right there on about the 29-yard line. Carrying the flags all the way across.
The NFL's all-time leading receiver, Steve Largent.
Without a touchdown so far this year. Who would have believed that? But still, such a dangerous receiver.
He's gone 9 games without a touchdown. That's the longest drought of his career. He went 6 games without a touchdown his rookie year. They're short of the first down.
Yeah, short by inches.
From the Kingdom, it's the Houston Oilers versus the Seattle Seahawks.
And the ovation, the return of Dave Craig at quarterback. Maybe one of the nicest ovations that he's had in his career. Craig, Williams, Warner, Blades, Largent, Tice, Mattis, Bailey, Bush, Millard, and Wilson, the offensive set. Viewers who've been watching that game, we're in the Kingdom in Seattle, and Houston leading the Seahawks 7-0. Seattle's trying to get it back to Largent. Couldn't pull it in at the 13-yard line. And there was tight coverage on it.
Well, I'll tell you what happened on this play, and it happens often to a receiver, and there's really no excuse for dropping a football that Largent did there. But he was stumbling coming out of his move.
He got caught in the turf. And when he was trying to collect his steps, it's more difficult to focus on the football when it's coming to you. He was worried about keeping his feet. It happens very often. If you watch him, he was stumbling coming out of the move and then trying to focus on the football. How many times will you see Largent drop a ball like that? But that is the reason for it.
Steve Largent, 1977, at age 23. That is when the record started.
And of course,
November the 13th, 11 years ago to the day.
That's exactly 11 years. Of course, he was originally a member of the Houston Oilers team. They traded him here to Seattle.
Second down, loss of about half a yard. Officially in the second down and 10. Four-man rush. Craig has pressure. He's hit. And it is almost intercepted. Largent saves the interception. Turns into a defender and pulls Donaldson into a cartwheel. And look at that innocent look as he comes back. That was almost Jeff Donaldson was the defender. Was it almost offensive pass interference? What's this?
It was an odd motion. It may have been that Craig was a nice play by Largent to pull Donaldson down on his head. It's a great play. But the ball, look at the flight of the ball. It's very unusual. And this is the second time that Largent turns into a defensive back to prevent the interception. Good play.
Yeah, well, Craig was hit just with the release. That's the reason it was floating. Craig goes deep and incomplete, and he goes to Ray Butler. Meanwhile, Steve Largent, there's a flag down back at the 12, and also Steve Largent does not have a reception with 8:44 left to go in the third quarter. Patrick Allen defensively for the Houston Oilers. And there is Largent, headed towards the Hall of Fame. And 11 years ago today was the last time he did not have a catch.
Decline. Third down.
And that was in the ball game against the Jets. That is the third holding call. Offensive holding against the Seahawks. This one refused. Largent, the best ever. Most reception, 779. Most yardage. Most seasons, 1,000+ yards. Most consecutive game. That's 160. I believe that should be 162.
Yes, it is.
Don't anticipate that 163 yet. Well, the offensive line of Seattle having a multitude of problems.
Is self-destructing. That's the fourth major foul on the Seahawks during this drive. That was illegal use of the hand to the face. You can use your hands to extend if you're an offensive lineman to block, but you can't get around that face mask.
It'll be 2nd and 27 at the 27.
2nd and 27.
Penalty yardage, the Oilers 34, the Seahawks 45. That's kind of a turnaround from what it normally is.
That's a good day for Houston.
Yeah. Largent has his reception, has the down. 30 yards.
This ball is underthrown, and Largent is actually well covered. He's right along the numbers, second man in. But watch him. This is the experience. It's underthrown. He comes back. He's actually very well covered by number 23, Richard Johnson. Wow, trying to score.
This is passing formation.
Well, not 2nd and 7. You got to throw the football.
And he's complete to Largent. Largent is good. Patrick Allen brings him down after a gain of 16.
This is zone coverage, Charlie, on the part of the Houston Oilers. They're sitting back there in the zone. Take a look at it. Largent coming underneath. Ground number 24's got to scoot out to get him because that's his zone. That was really not a man-to-man coverage, but Largent with a nice spin move inside. He doesn't have to go out of bounds because, as he knows, the smart receiver, he's got 4 minutes left in the contest, plus he's got 3 timeouts.
As Norm Johnson drilled this 46-yarder with just 1 second remaining to rally the Seahawks for a 4th time to a 27-24 victory over Houston. Johnson's heroics enabled Seattle to maintain a share of first place in the AFC West. Today, those two last-second winners get together at Arrowhead Stadium here in Kansas City. It's a bright, sunny, cold, and blustery day following a 2-inch overnight snowfall. As Craig will work out of the shotgun, Largent in motion moving toward the left. Craig looking in that direction, fires, completes the pass to Largent, I believe, at the 46-yard line. Yes, he slid right in there and grabbed it before it hit the turf. And there's a 13-year veteran keeping an amazing string alive.
164 games in a row now, and a good play. I mentioned motion the beginning of the game. With Craig in the contest, he's able to run more motion. See, he's looking at the man who's watching him man-to-man. Sidney Johnson, 45, follows him across. He gets caught up going with all of the motion and comes back across. Largent goes laterally as well as any receiver in football. He might not have the speed, but he's got the quickness more than most people playing this game.
The Los Angeles Raiders and the Seattle Seahawks. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford. We are delighted you are with us. We think we have a very interesting matchup for you tonight. Both these teams, quite honestly, are struggling. They have all season long. They are 6-6, and coming into tonight, the Seattle Seahawks are coming off a dismal loss to Kansas City of a week ago, but they stayed alive. They thought they had to win that game because Denver lost and the Raiders lost.
Dave Craig now leads the Seattle offensive unit. In their first possession of the night, Craig separated his shoulder early in the season, missed 7 games. They went basically with Kelly Stoffer. Then Craig came back 3 weeks ago. Last week, 20 of 30. Warner and John L. Williams. Williams, the fullback, is their leading receiver. Brian Blades, the good-looking rookie. The Hall of Fame inductee soon, Steve Largent on the other side. Tice, the tight end, 3rd and 7 with 4 receivers in for Seattle. Out of the shotgun. That's Craig throwing over the middle. Touchdown. Largent's first of the season. Caught a pass in 165 consecutive games. Good protection for Craig. Lots of time. Lionel Washington, he just ran right by Washington, and Craig laid it up. The timing was perfect. And lead it 7-0.
Lionel Washington locked up one-on-one with Steve Largent, but really Eddie Anderson, the safety, he's supposed to be there to make that play, and as you can see, he's to the right and out of the play, and it results in a Seahawks touchdown.
The first game in the history of the Seahawk franchise, September 12th, 1976, here at the Kingdome. Jim Zorn was the quarterback, and number 80, Steve Largent, was a rookie. The then St. Louis Cardinals beat Seattle 30-24.
That was opening day of 1976, and we were a little stunned. We almost got beat by the Seahawks, and I remember all the way home, we wondered, where did they get that left-handed quarterback? Good work.
2nd and 6. Too high for Largent. 3rd down and 6.
Largent, of course, the Travelers' Man of the Year for the Seattle Seahawks, as he should be annually. Remarkably young man, setting all those records. Kept his feet on the ground all the way. He and his wife, Terry, with the 3 sons and the little daughter, they're very active here in the community. And, of course, the Travelers' Man of the Year for the NFL will be announced at the Super Bowl. And we'll find representatives tonight. Marcus Allen over in the Raiders side. That consecutive reception streak started over 11 years ago. 11 years. Up to 165.
November 20th, 1977. On 3rd and 6, that's Largent who drops the ball. And the Raiders, have they recovered? Waiting for the signal. The Raiders all signaling that they have it. But did they get possession before it goes out of bounds is the question.
I haven't seen an official indicate anything yet.
Neither have I. They have recovered.
There was a Raider that dived for the football and knocked it back inbounds, and that saved it for the Raiders.
Doug Toole, the back judge.
This almost looked like trying to down a punt at the 1-yard line as the Raiders fight to keep the ball from going out of bounds in a an awesome play. Let's see who it is that comes in. That's Lionel Washington, who's going to make the hit on Largent. He knocks the ball up. But watch from the right of your screen. Watch a Raider come along and swat the ball back onto the field.
Ooh, that ball is dangerously close to touching the sideline. I think they're going to look at that.
That's Van McElroy, number 26. McElroy came flying in there, and you can hear the crowd. They just saw it on the screen here in the Kingdome.
The reverse angle, I think, shows rather positively that that ball touched the out-of-bounds marker.
If McElroy touches the football and the out-of-bounds at the same time, Seattle's going to retain possession of that football because the ball will in essence have been ruled to be out of bounds. And the last person that had possession was Largent, a Seahawk.
There it is again, another good look. The ball there, up in the air. Here comes. And McElroy to knock it back in bounds. The crowd is watching it on the Diamond Vision here.
They are not supposed to replay controversial plays, and they have replayed this one twice, and that creates the crowd response. Does it touch the line?
That did not look like it was out of bounds.
Remember, it has to be conclusive to overturn a call on the field. I haven't seen anything yet that would conclusively say that he was out of bounds.
George Slatke is the replay official.
Don't look just at the ball. Look at Van McElroy as well, because if either one of them is out of bounds when contact is made, that's as good as both being out. The ball looks inbounds there to me. The question is whether McElroy is touching the ground when he swats the ball.
It's like that Neil Anderson touchdown yesterday for the Chicago Bears. They finally gave it to him. It took 4 minutes to figure that one out.
I don't know. Guys, what do you think? I don't know if they've seen enough to overturn the official's call.
This is where it looks as though it did catch the out of bounds.
All right, let's see McElroy's body. Let's look at his body and see if it touches out of bounds. All right, the ball's going to bounce. I think that's a heck of a play by Van McElroy.
Yep.
I think the Raiders keep that football.
Yep, I agree. There's not enough there to turn it around.
No, if I'm the replay official, I say Raider football. What a play by Van McElroy.
Great play.
Extraordinary play.
Largent to the 31-yard line. And who else but Largent can get that open over the middle? We've seen him do it time and time and time again.
Craig trying to get everything pulled together, making sure Largent is all right. Craig did not want to take a timeout. He had to do it, but Largent appeared shaken up.
Just one-on-one with Ron Fellows. And Frank, how subtle was that move to the outside? Did you see? He just froze Fellows. Oh, just a brilliant move by Steve Largent, shuttering his shoulders, making it look like he's going to break to the sideline, when in reality, he breaks back to the middle of the field, just freezes 21 Ron Fellows long enough. And watch this for heads-up play. Down and timeout.
And he was hurting when he did that.
There's a guy that's into the ball game, no matter where he is or how many people are on top of him.
All-time leader in receptions and receiving yards. And, of course, with a touchdown tonight, as we illustrated earlier, 3 shy of Don Hutson's touchdown reception record.
You know, the amazing thing about him, here he is in his 13th year, and nobody works as hard as Steve Largent. He is a great example for, well, the rookie Brian Blades up from the University of Miami. He comes out and he will run a pass pattern over and over and over and over. He's probably run this thousands of times, but he'll do it. And nobody runs more precise routes. And it's a great inspiration to a youngster coming up. And it has been to the rookie on this Seahawks team, Brian Blades.
1st and 10, Seattle at the 30. 1:01 to go in the half. Raiders lead by 6. Craig, who else? Largent. How in the world does he get open? Anderson makes the tackle.
I'll tell you how he gets open. He gets open because Dave Craig probably took 7 seconds to throw the football.
Yeah, but he knows, too, when Craig gets in trouble, he's going to give Craig a good angle to hit him with. Back wide. Craig throwing to the end zone. Touchdown.
What a great
Paul
ride.
Stancy.
What a great ride. Then you come to the clutch man with the glue on the face.
Today from Sullivan Stadium, it's the Seattle Seahawks versus the New England Patriots.
There is Steve Largent, the great receiver for the Seahawks, who will not play today. A strained foot suffered in that last win over the Raiders on Monday night at the Kingdome. Keeps Steve Largent out today. Paul Scanzi, who like Largent caught a touchdown pass in that game against the Raiders, will start. But how much either team will be throwing remains to be seen.
The showdown, when two meet face to face and only one walks away. This is the Kingdome in Seattle, where we have a sellout crowd of almost 65,000 to watch a battle for first place in the division between the Broncos and the Seahawks. The standings in the AFC West, Denver and Seattle tied for first at 7-7. The Raiders drop a half game behind after losing at Buffalo this afternoon. Craig steps up in the pocket, launches it at the Denver 44. Mike Harden made the tackle. A 19-yard gain for one of the great receivers that has ever played the game.
Well, you know, he's one of those guys that was too small, too slow, and too everything. Houston gave up on him, and now he comes out. Now, he's the inside receiver here. You see the cornerback blitz off his face, so there's really nobody on him. Now he runs a little shake in, shake out, and just find me in the middle David catch. I don't know if they called it that way in the huddle, but that's what the result was.
Seattle at the Denver 44. Craig is perfect on 3 passes so far. Reading about him and getting ready for this game, I read something that I had not seen before. Really incredible. He says he focuses on the very tip of the football until he can see the grains in the leather. And he also says that he can watch the flight of the first half of the ball, close his eyes, put up his hands, and he can still catch it.
Well, he never could have done that with mine. Because the flight of the first half of the ball never was what the flight of the second half of the ball was. I'd have thrown him a curve. But that only speaks to the intensity and the student of the game that he is.
Warner, another flag is down. Smith makes the tackle. We'll check this penalty.
You know, paybacks are heck in this business.
Yeah.
Steve Largent didn't forget who knocked him out in their first meeting. It was Mike Harden. Maybe you wait 14 weeks.
Illegal shift. 2 men moving, not resetting on the offense. 32 and the flanker.
Craig so far perfect. 9 out of 9, 97 yards. Great stutter step down to the 21-yard line, about a yard shy of a first down, and another fight. And the side judge got a place maybe he shouldn't have gotten.
That's Dick Creed, the side judge, trying to jump in and take care of it. Jeremiah Castile, all involved out there with, I believe it's Brian Blades.
It is. And both of them may be gone. Castile coming toward the sideline. Maybe he's just walking away. We'll hear the officials call and get the explanation.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 28 on the defense with retaliation by the offense. After the play, the penalty's offset. Yes, they do. They offset.
That was the voice of Steve Largent you heard saying that. He said it wasn't retaliation. And I'll tell you something. If somebody knows what's going on a football field, it's Steve Largent. There's Castile now. Blades just does a good job of cutting him. And Castile doesn't like it. He throws him down.
Haven't seen a retaliation yet. He's standing there.
I'll tell you, that's a lousy job of officiating a fight. I'm glad they don't do the Leonard Hearns fights and stuff like that, or else there's no telling who'd win.
Blades was real smart. He just stood there and took a beating and didn't even get the penalty out of it.
Bad job of officiating right there. No retaliation.
Craig on 3rd and 1. Blades intercepted by Harden. Oh, and Largent unloaded and got the ball. Holy cow, what a shot. There is a flag down.
Holding, number 28, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Castile. They sent Blades out to beat him.
I'll guarantee you, when that happens, a coach knows what to do. He goes right to a call. He goes right in the huddle, and he says, Brian, you go out and beat him. You want him? You got it. It's your play.
Oh.
That's not holding. That's a mauling.
And then Harden gets the interception, but the hit by Largent. Holy cow. What's this?
We knew Steve Largent was upset before. They think he's a little guy, but boy, does he pack a pop.
So Seattle, on the strength of the penalty, 1st and 10 from the 16.
Well, you don't have to be a big linebacker to hit people, but look at Largent. Gets his head in front. Harden's feet just come flying off the ground.
And Harden never saw him.
No, never saw him at all.
You begin to drool about 2 yards before that.
I never had, you know, if I did that, I'd be the guy bouncing back or something. But you could tell he was upset on the penalty call.
Well, the momentum of what has been a tremendously exciting and hard-hitting game has been slowed by multiple penalties here in the last couple of minutes.
But the intensity has been increased.
Yes, it is. Last week at New England, Seattle had the ball for only 18:55 the entire game. Craig on first down up top. Largent. Largent to the 35-yard line. He beat Mark Haynes for 46 yards.
Well, we've talked about the fact that Denver's been unable to stop the run. You put the corners one-on-one. Largent just owns Haynes on this one. A little out and up move. He gets Haynes to bite, and it's party over. He just runs down the field. Craig does a great job of laying this ball out. You have a tendency as a quarterback to want to underthrow a receiver that wide open, but he hit him in stride.
Largent holds most NFL receiving records. This could be his last home game. Kevin Harmon is into the running back replacing Warner. Harmon is 34. He'll lead Williams. Oh, and Castile got leveled by John L. Castile may go home tonight and wipe this date off the calendar.
Well, I'll tell you who really makes the block. Kevin Harmon, number 34, right part of your screen. He just goes out and handles Michael Brooks. He gets Michael Brooks, number 56, turned around. And then John L. just lowers that shoulder, and Jeremiah is doing everything he can to try and get him out of bounds.
Mike Harden is down. Brian Blades is standing over him. He is the guy who put him down with a devastating block. We'll check on his condition in a moment. Mike Harden on the sideline. Came off under his own power, limping a little bit. Tyrone Braxton is in for him, and Harden has taken a couple of real shots tonight. Craig play action again. Craig has had a brilliant game. Gets it out to Largent. Dennis Smith goes over and just makes the touch. Like Craig saying, hey, I'm sorry, I should have thrown it up so you didn't have to fall down to get it.
But he can do no wrong. He just walks over. See, what they're doing is saying, I just have to read your pass route a little bit better.
Craig, 18 out of 20, 218 yards. Largent has 3 of them.
And both balls that were incomplete were thrown to Kurt Warner. Now, I would venture a guess, and I don't think Kurt Warner's going to get another one thrown to him because he's dropped 2, the only 2 that Craig hasn't completed. So David's going to say, I'll go someplace else.
It's amazing. He could be 20 for 20. Very easy. Steve Largent. Rumors that he may hang it up after this year. He's had a bad foot, a bad hand. May have to have 2 operations when the season is over. And he has always said he wants to leave this game while he can still walk and not be a cripple when it's over. And Kelly Stoffer is into the ball game, and Stoffer will have the ceremonious last play, take the snap, and go to one knee. And it has been a tremendous performance by the Seattle Seahawks. 42-14. Their record goes to 8-7, and believe it or not,
They are the only team in the AFC West that has a winning record at this point. 1 week to go.
Today, from the Los Angeles Coliseum, it's the Seattle Seahawks versus the Los Angeles Raiders.
And this, in reality, is the beginning of the playoff season for the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Raiders. Head coach Chuck Knox. He's a veteran of these kind of games. The winner will take the crown in the AFC West. The loser will go home. If there's a tie, the Seahawks win the AFC West based on a better record.
Craig from the shotgun with Williams back with him. Open is Largent, touchdown.
Touchdown, Seahawks. Steve Largent with a touchdown.
Steve Largent, 35 yards. That is touchdown number 97 in his career. Only 2 off the NFL record held by the great Don Hudson.
And wait till you see the move that Steve Largent put on Mike Caines. A couple of veterans going after one another. He made an out move and then back up the field. It's a move that Largent has patented. In fact, around football circles, sometimes you call it the Largent move. He makes the out and back up the field, but you think that Mike Caines, the veteran, would have been ready for it. He's made more people look bad in his career than any player in the history of the NFL. Take a look at it. Now, he's on the left side of the screen. Craig does a good job of looking away. But what you can't say here is that Largent makes an out move, Haynes bites on it, and then he goes straight back up the field into the corner of the end zone.
And Largent is bothered by a thumb injury and also a very sore foot, a deep stone bruise on his foot. 2nd and 9. Butler in motion. Good defensive play. Largent, they know they're going to call Mike Haynes for getting there too soon. And it'd be a pass interference call against the Raiders.
Pass interference, defense, number 22. First down.
Hey, you've got to make this call. The flag comes in awfully late, though, Charlie. Remember, pass interference was going to be a play that was not called as much this season, and it hasn't been. However, here, going over the back is the one thing that will get you a flag, and he did it. He comes over the top and does not give Largent an opportunity to catch the football.
It is a good call, and a first down at the 30-yard line. There you can see the tape on that left thumb. And again, in case you joined us late, Largent also has a reception that moves his consecutive game total to 167. He has a touchdown, and that is his career total of 97, 2 off Don Hudson's NFL mark.
Did you see his fingers, though? He's got tape on almost all of his fingers. At this time of an NFL season, receivers have more swollen fingers than anybody in the world, stowed fingers, because if you catch enough balls during a week, you're going to catch one just wrong, and it'll sprain a finger. Take a look at his hands. His left hand, his thumb, and his fourth finger are swollen up and taped.
Did you tape your fingers?
Only when you stove them. On the right-hand side, he's got another 2 fingers taped up.
You taped on the first game of the year.
That's right.
Like most dads, I've received some pretty unusual gifts from my kids. Gifts that really mean a lot to me. I wouldn't trade them for anything. But if you have a chance, check out the Bon Marche's December men's sale. You'll find some great values on gift ideas like warm-up suits, lycra running gear, a great selection of sweaters, eelskin accessories, belts and suspenders, plus gold-toe socks. So take care of Dad right with a trip to the Bon Marche's men's sale. He'll love you for it.
They don't come into play anymore. There's more of a unity feeling when you know you're pulling together for your ultimate goal, which is to continue on in the playoffs.
Craig's pass complete to Largent to the 49-yard line. Gain of 15 yards and a first down. Haynes makes the tackle. Mike Shanahan of the Los Angeles Raiders, and that's it. Now the exchange of the shaking of hands and congratulations. The Seattle Seahawks defeat the Los Angeles Raiders 43-37. The Seahawks are the champions. They'll play at Cincinnati in 2 weeks. And we'll be back in Los Angeles in just a moment.
Stadium on the banks of the Ohio River, ready to start an early New Year's celebration in this bicentennial year for the Cincinnatians. And Seattle, a touchdown underdog, hopes to turn Cincinnati's champagne flat. 43 degrees. It is getting cooler over now gray skies here in southern Ohio. 2nd and 9. Wide open is Largent. And he's out of bounds. Billups got him after a first down at the 44. A dozen for Largent.
Talked to Steve Largent in the locker room just moments before the game, and he's had real trouble with the nerve in his foot. And he said it's shooting and horrible pains up through that foot, but he said the week's layoff has helped him. He also has a thumb that he has to strap down to keep from coming out of joint.
And we wonder if this is the last time, should Seattle not win today, that we'll see this great player from Tulsa and an outstanding man. And now face 3rd down and 10 plus. They lost the 8 yards they gained on the pass to Williams. Largent can't grab it, hit the ground. And the Bengal fans love their defense. They love it all so far. Largent, who has battled through a very tough season. He's going to have an operation on his foot, an operation on his hand. He's just never been healthy. He had a concussion early when hit by Mike Harden of the Denver Broncos, and he's hurt again.
This play the ball had to be thrown quickly because of the blitz. You see them coming, Horton and Wilcox. And Largent may have taken that ball on his thumb, but it's the hit afterwards that rolled him onto his shoulder. It looks like he rolled that left shoulder under, and that's exactly the way that Dave Craig was hurt when Lee Williams sacked him in the San Diego game earlier in the year, put him out for 7 weeks. Very often the cushion here is not great, and let's see if it is perhaps that shoulder rolling underneath as he is crunched by Ricky Dixon, number 29. No, it's not Dixon. Is it Bussey? Who is it? Fulcher.
You know, the shame of that, we've heard all about the inadvertent whistles and the whistles we hear or don't hear. There's a case where the ball was clearly incomplete. The whistle would have prevented Largent from being hit on the ground.
Well, and all you have to do is tap him and he's down. But it's good news to see him up because, as I said, it's very easy with a shoulder rolled under like that to be compressed and just have that collarbone or the clavicle just go ahead and pop on you.
And he appears to be not seriously hurt. That's good news for the brilliant wide receiver star of the Seahawks. But even at this hour, from nearly 5:30 in Cincinnati, the temperature quite pleasant, around 40 degrees. Largent hit immediately by Ricky Dixon, the Bengals' #1 draft pick out of Oklahoma. Seattle not calling one of its 3 timeouts, so the clock runs. 3rd and 5. Craig going long for Largent, who can't quite get that right hand out there. Running one of his patented patterns. He's so magnificent in finding a way open. Well, with that bad foot, maybe not quite as fast as he should be, and Craig a little overthrown.
The trademark of Largent's patterns for years have been the blinding cuts, the ability to cut so quickly. And I asked him about that foot, and he said when you're cutting off the ball of your foot, boy, you see him going to the sideline in pain, and that's exactly what's killing him here. The ability to explode out of those cuts and be there for that football just is not there for him. We understand that Steve Largent, along with foot problems and thumb problems, now has a lower back problem. You see him trying to loosen that back up.
21-13 the final. We'll be right back.
As the #1 receiver in NFL history, Steve Largent of the Seattle Seahawks has faced many challenges, but none were as tough as when he and his wife Terry were told that their 4th child, Kramer, was born with spina bifida.
It was one of the lowest points in my life. I was crushed. Really just a huddled mass in the corner of the room, sobbing my eyes out.
We've been very fortunate in our circumstances in that we have the resources. and the faith to pull us through a tough situation like this. But there are lots of people that aren't able to do that, and that's where the support from United Way comes in. Lots of families that need United Way to help them through a situation like this.
For us, Kramer is like all our children. Already he dreams of being a cowboy. The hopes and dreams of many children and their parents are counting on the United Way. That's why your support of United Way is so important. United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Today, it's the Seattle Seahawks versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Veterans Stadium. Along with Paul McGuire, I'm Joel Myers. And on a very, very warm afternoon, it's the opening of the NFL season. 93 degrees currently. Just about an hour ago, they took the temperature down on the AstroTurf, and it was 120 degrees on the surface of Veterans Stadium. In the backfield, Craig with Williams and Warner, and the wide receivers, Blades and Largent, with the tight end in his first year, Robert Tyler, at the Eagles' 23-yard line. Looking for Largent, he's got it, and it's a touchdown for the Seahawks. Beat the double coverage of Wes Hopkins and Eric Allen. And now he is only one touchdown away from tying Don Hudson's all-time record.
You know, I'm just wondering, again, if the defensive back Allen loses the ball. Here comes Largent, he's down on Allen. Wes Hopkins is going to come in. But the question is now, did he lose the ball? Hopkins comes in and knocks Allen off, but I think that Allen, actually number 21, lost the ball in the sun.
By the Seattle Seahawks. Largent with the 23-yard touchdown, and it's tied at 7. Second and 10 now, the 45 of Seattle. Wanted Largent. And the Eagles secondary man wanted offensive interference. Eric Everett defending on that play. He thought Largent was pulling his arm down.
Well, Everett goes for the ball. The guy was watching behind him is number 20, Waters. What Waters is doing, instead of going to attack the ball, he sits back and he waits. He's there on the 30-yard line. You see him just waiting? Everett went in and knocked the ball away.
Steve Largent has not yet returned from the Seattle locker room. And now they have taken him back for a second x-ray, we have just learned. We have just received word that Steve Largent has a small crack of his bone in his elbow and will not be returning. Tough one for the Seahawks to take. Eagles get ready to give it back to the Seahawks. Dave Craig finished for the afternoon, alongside his favorite target, Steve Largent, who left the game and out now, and it's undetermined how long he's going to be out. Largent out with a cracked bone in his elbow. Craig, 15 of 34 for 210 yards, suffered 2 interceptions, hitting Largent for his only touchdown pass of 23 yards.
And that's a long trip back to Seattle, don't you know?
Especially when you lose your best wide receiver and you don't know how long he's going to be out for.
Now, our late game on NBC will feature the return of Seattle All-Pro Steve Largent. A fractured elbow shortened Largent's farewell season by half. After going down on week 1 in Philadelphia, Largent pursued a unique regimen of rehabilitation that featured solitary workouts in full pads. His aim was to create a simulated team environment on his own, since league rules barred him from regular practices while he was on injured reserve.
He would go and simulate being in the huddle. He would call the pass patterns that we had scheduled that week in our game plan. He would clap his hands as though to break the huddle. He would go and line up. He would look in to key the ball. He would sprint off the line of scrimmage. He would go down and visualize and act out catching the football, tucking it away, and running with the football.
You know, I could have sat on my hands for 6 weeks and then come back out and not been in shape. And, you know, it's a lot harder for a guy that's 35 years old to come back after a 6-week layoff and start trying to play in the NFL.
Today, it's the San Diego Chargers versus the Seattle Seahawks.
And today we're in the great city of Seattle, Washington, the last frontier in the Northwest. But we're indoors. We're here at the Kingdom. All right, Steve Largent, he is also back. He has been on injured reserve. He's been out for 6 weeks, and a tremendous ovation when he was introduced here.
They're happy to have him back on the field, not only for his pass catching ability, but also for his leadership.
3rd and 12. With it, Tarkenton roll to the backside, and he throws. It is short of the first down. It is complete to Largent, so that streak continues. Now at 169 games. They're protecting Largent is what they're doing. That's what the Tippers are swearing. O'Neal and Lyles are doing.
Powerful bond between these offensive players and Steve Largent. They see somebody roughing him up, and that's a mark of a Chuck Knox team, togetherness. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
Donnell Williams, a great receiver. Deep over the middle, diving, incomplete. Largent, I thought he had it at the 2. Sam Seal with the coverage. It'll be 2nd down. The neck seems to be all right, as you can tell.
The rest of him is going to hurt as he breaks inside off the one-on-one there. He'll get help inside, and that's Vency Glenn, number 25, and he'll come out and let you have it. And of course, that's what you want to do with those safeties. You want those receivers to have to think about it when they break those patterns off to the inside.
Now, those are the numbers against San Diego. 16 of his 98 touchdowns receiving, he has 1 record, have been against San Diego. 2nd down and 10. Far side, Largent, good coverage. Sam Seal was on him. And it'll be 3rd down.
When you talk to people about Largent and you ask them about this receiver, what they'll tell you is that the one thing that is so difficult to cover about Largent is he makes every pattern look the same. You can't read Largent by watching the way he starts a pattern.
Notice what he did. The throw was behind him. He reached back with the left hand, deflected the ball down, negating any possibility of an interception.
Good reactions.
1st down. 42-yard line of San Diego, 60 seconds remaining. Craig has pressure, gets it off Largent. Largent out of bounds at the 21.
The Seattle Seahawks have spent the entire afternoon in San Diego territory. They have 3 points to show for it. They need to do better than that on this.
It's the Seattle Seahawks versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
It is a beautiful sunny day at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The weather conditions look like this. 63 degrees, a bit windy, but a perfect way to start off the 2nd half of the NFL's regular season.
Hey, Cecil's got to handle it.
3rd down and 8. Craig rolls from the pressure, and Steve Largent has it. Largent's got a 1st down and pays the price as 3 Chiefs into that active secondary come up and make the hit on him. Forward progress should give him up near the 35-yard line, and the Largent streak continues now, as it has been 170 games consecutively now catching at least 1 pass.
I asked him yesterday, I said, are you getting nostalgic about the retirement? He's going to retire after the year. He's already announced it. And he said, I'm too sore to get nostalgic right now, and you can see why. He's been really banged up this season. He had a broken arm earlier in the year. Last week he came back against San Diego, had a concussion early on, came back to play. But not only is he a great receiver, but he's one of the toughest guys to play in this league in a long, long time.
You'll have plenty of time to develop on that as the half continues. Here's Craig again, and Largent open over the middle at the midfield stripe as Craig delivers one right on the button, and we'll come up to the really now what can be called less than 2-minute warning. 1st and 10, less than 2 to go here in the 1st half. Craig from the midfield stripe. Boy, Largent's having a great day as he makes the catch at the 35-yard line. To New York we go. Here's an update with Bob Costas. 1:12 to go here in the 1st half. 2nd down. Craig across the middle. There's Blades. Gets hit and fumbled and almost got face masked too, but there's no flag down. But Seattle recovers as Steve Largent, who is doing it all here this afternoon, is in there to recover.
There's a blitz coming in. They sent, obviously Thomas comes on everyone, but take a look at the top part of your screen. Deron Cherry gets picked off, and no one touches Thomas, but it was a good job of getting that blitz pickup.
Largent faked the toss, set up a screen for Largent, and then he fumbles the ball, but right into the arms of Fiesel, I believe, the center. Yeah, there's Fiesel. He ends up with the football. I said Largent threw the pass. Actually, Craig threw the pass on a screen that was set up to Largent.
It's just a fumble recovery. This thing will stand, I believe. It's a strange play, though. Take a look at it. Largent actually faked a block, then came across the field. If they get, I think that's Pearson blocked, this thing is going to be a touchdown, but that's a fumble. What they have to rule, this is the decision being made. Was it a catch? If it is a catch, then the fumble can be recovered by Fiesel, an offensive lineman. If it was not a catch and it went through his hands, then they're going to mark this as an incomplete pass, because obviously you can't get an offensive lineman to catch it unless it's deflected by another player. So that should stand. Either way, that thing should stand. They should mark it where it was. I don't know what they're...
That's a good kick.
Yeah.
It's second down.
See, that's the
Ben,
confusion.
that's what Jimmy was saying.
Well, he had to think about it for a minute, too, as I did. Once an offensive legal receiver touches the football, anybody can catch it. It goes through Largent's hands, so he touches it as a legal receiver. There's the center, Fiesel catching it on the fly, but that's legal. Once an eligible receiver touches it, anybody's.
Today, it's the Cleveland Browns versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Better than 60,000 capacity crowd at the Kingdome in Seattle for the Seahawks and the Browns. Largent in motion for this third down and 5. Craig from the shotgun going sideline and has a first down with the future Hall of Famer Steve Largent. He picked up 11 and was stopped by Tony Blaylock. And Largent hears it from the crowd.
Steve Largent is the master at running patterns underneath the coverage. Steve Largent brings his route in and then breaks it back to the outside, and he is wide open. The thing they like to tell receivers is always know where you are on the field, and Largent does that as well as anybody.
So that extends the consecutive game reception streak. And he is 2 catches away from another milestone, gunning for 800 receptions in his career, just adding to his NFL record. 3 minutes gone by, third quarter, game tied at 7. And Craig able to connect. Largent making the second catch of the day, and he stopped short of the first down by Mike Johnson and Van Waiters.
These people don't like it when people tackle Steve Largent very hard, but this is professional football, and it is a collision sport, and if you catch a ball over the middle, you're going to get treated just like this.
Isn't he allowed to be tackled?
Even if you're a 35-year-old future Hall of Famer. Back at the 26, 2:20 remaining in the third. And Craig for a diving Largent. It is short of the first down. Minifield on the stop. Picked up 12.
Steve Largent, the master at running pass routes. They call him Yoda because he is such a master at running routes, and he just picked up his 800th career reception, something that receivers only dream about.
Just adding to his NFL record. The crowd at the Kingdome responding. He's also caught at least 1 pass in 171 straight games. That record continuing. Third down and 2 at the 38. Craig for Largent and a first down. Make it 8:01.
8:01. Nice reception. A little 4-yard gain, but a reception nonetheless. You know, I played a major part in Steve Largent's career here. Actually, I was traded the day that he came on this team. I think they knew something. That was 800 catches ago about.
That is the steel trade. Largent coming from Houston, and you were headed to
Minnesota.
Right, where you were. Put up some very nice numbers, it should be added.
Got a chance to go to a Super Bowl.
So you were actually only in camp with the Seahawks. You'd come from Buffalo.
From Buffalo. I played the preseason here. And when I saw Steve, I packed.
Today, it's the Seattle Seahawks versus the New York Giants.
It is a crisp 35-degree day at Giant Stadium in the New Jersey Meadowlands with winds from the west, 14 miles per hour. Yes, it is overcoat weather.
I think this is a good Seattle football team who is not playing well. And Chuck Knox knows that. They make a change at quarterback. He said, I'm looking for a little life out of my team. I'm trying to find something that works. And there's the man that gets it done, Kelly Stauffer. First start of '89.
However, there's a new owner in Seattle, and that could play a role. Sometimes there could be some impatience on the part of new ownership.
But I think Chuck Knox has one thing working in his favor, and that's the general manager of the team, Tom Flores, former head coach of the Los Angeles Raiders. And I think, all things considered, even though Flores and the owner are friends, I think Flores also understands the situation that Knox is in.
6:50 to go in the first quarter. Seattle looking at a third down and 9. Stauffer to throw, and he completes to Largent right at the first down marker. Picked up 9 on the play. Largent bumped out by Perry Williams. New holder now for Seattle. Steve Largent will hold for Norm Johnson with the third-string quarterback Jeff Kemp inactive. It's a 35-yard attempt for Johnson.
Watch the job that Largent does. Here's where he wants to spot the ball, but the snap is high by Grant Feasel. Does he put it down on the spot? Yes, he does. But the bad snap may destroy the timing a little bit, and Johnson misses a 35-yarder. Wasted drive, no points.
8 minutes to go in this first half. Stauffer for Largent, and he has the first down. Mark Collins on the tackle. Largent, who spent all day yesterday shopping for a birthday gift for his wife. I know, Bob, you were very helpful with suggestions. Steve Largent, future Hall of Famer, with his second catch of the day.
Actually, he had already had the gift. He was looking for a card and taking suggestions from everyone where he could get it. And we sent him, our producer Glenn Adamo sent him right down the street. He was happy about that. Largent, one of the trickiest receivers to have ever played the game. I don't think he made the Seahawks because of his foot speed, but he is a very clever receiver, still at his advanced age.
32 degrees the temperature, 50 seconds to go, first half. And it's a third down 7 for Seattle. They're trailing the Giants 7-0. Stauffer with the time, and Largent stepped out.
Not enough for the first down. You just did the Giants a favor. You don't get the first down, and you stop the clock with 46 seconds left. That's inexperience on the part of Kelly Stauffer.
Third down and 2, and Stauffer has the first down and some more, combining with Largent for an 11-yard reception.
Absolutely astounds me that an offense that calls itself ground chuck in third down and short situation, they go with the 4 wide receiver set and they throw the ball. This once again 1-2-3 set. Wait for the quick slant by Largent. You see between Williams on the outside and Sheldon White on the inside. Nice reception for another first.
Today, it's the Seattle Seahawks versus the Denver Broncos.
And the entire state of Colorado is on a Rocky Mountain high. They have an offensive line that is still in search of consistency. Their backs and receivers. Kelly Stauffer draws his second straight starting assignment at quarterback, and Derek Finner is starting at fullback for John L. Williams. In passing situations, Finner and the tight end Donnie D come out, and Lewis Clark and Paul Scansey, Mr. Third Down, join Steve Largent and Brian Blades as wide receivers. Stauffer to Largent. The streak continues. 173 games.
Their college season is already finished, so it is difficult.
First and 15. Largent has it near the first. He's going to have 14 yards. His second reception of the ball game. As we second down and 1. And meanwhile, back at the 40-yard line, another pushing and shoving contest has erupted.
Largent, bottom of your screen right there. Nice little turn on Braxton, number 34.
And Charlie, I'm going to miss number 80.
Yes.
Largent has been such a gentleman, such a class act. Nobody runs better patterns. Nobody twists those defensive backs around any better than he does. I asked him, what are you going to do this next year? He said, well, I might be up there where you are. I said, well, don't come for my job. I got enough problems as it is. But he's had a chance to audition with CBS and ESPN as well as NBC. And I think the proud Peacock would like to have him in the booth.
And Dave Craig is the new quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks.
Charlie, it was one of the things that chased Craig, and he talked about it when I visited with him this morning. Talking about a young quarterback, he said, I try and talk to him about mistakes. He said, of course, he may not listen because it was mistakes that put me on the bench. But he's a gentleman. And it's really made a difference up front in the way they can play defense.
2nd and 11. Largent has it and is out of bounds at the 44-yard line.
Great receivers instinctively feel that sideline. And Largent is a great receiver. His records bear that out. Look at him. He never looks to the sideline, but look what he does with his feet here. Watch his feet.
He knows immediately.
He knows immediately how close he is to that sideline. 2 toes down. In fact, his knees were almost in.
For Largent, 3 receptions, 44 yards. Craig throws, Largent has it, slips the tackle, does a little outside-inside move, and he's to the 50-yard line. He'll have 9. It'll be 2nd down and 1, and that is his 4th reception on the day. Steve Atwater with the tackle. Don Hudson, you have to go back in time. He's from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. He was All-American Alabama. The Bear Bryant was the other end. Then he went on to the pros, Green Bay Packers, and here he is, a famous number 14. And that is, you're watching now one of his 99 touchdown receptions. Steve Largent has 98 received. Hudson had a trick, though. Goalposts in were H's, and they were right on the goal line, and he would go down with the receiver, the defender right behind him. He had hooked the goalpost, spin around, the receiver go, the defender go right through the end zone. He'd turn around and catch the ball. Largent's open, and he goes back to it. Can he get it? Coming across deep was Brian Blades. Was that Blades, I believe, that was open?
Blades that missed the pass coming across. I think Blades thought the pass was to Largent. Let's see what happens to Largent. Largent gets away right there for a moment. Now Blades will come from the far side of your screen. He's looking at Largent. Yeah. He's sure that's Largent's pass.
I think it was Largent's pass.
Well, just a little long for Largent.
Yeah, right. All right, now it's 3rd down goal to go at the 9. Largent's in motion. Largent's open. Oh, no, he throws it. Can he get to it? No, and he was wide open.
You better believe that those two, Craig and Largent, who have been such good friends, been teammates for a long, long time, have excellent coordination as receiver and catcher. Largent had no idea that there was no one else out there. He's still running the definition of the pattern. Look at this. He doesn't realize he's the only one out there. Ball thrown on the break, and Craig read the fact that there were no defenders out there. He said, all I got to do is put it down in the end zone. Largent will get it. The camera too hot to handle. Too hot to handle. Machinery couldn't handle it.
Largent,
look at this.
There?
Yes.
Yes. We have tied the record. All right.
Well, there had to be some positive note for the Seahawks on the day. I think we have found one.
Craig to Largent. His 99th touchdown receiving, tying Don Hudson's all-time NFL record. And by the way, he has 1 rushing.
And he did it in typical Largent fashion. Braxton right on top of him, his hand near that football. Largent still made the catch. As pleased as Largent will be about this record, he would much rather have seen his team win today. A consummate team player, he has never been one to really worry about those individual records. This man Watch how he feels about that record for his friend, his teammate.
And he knows, yes, he knows it's it. All right.
Well, finally,
yes,
a happy note on the day for the Hawks. And as we've said, been a long drought for them today.
And congratulations all around. Well deserved. That's number 100. Remember the one rushing?
We close out week 13 of the NFL's regular schedule. Tonight, the Buffalo Bills and the Seattle Seahawks with a sellout crowd anticipated.
Well, I guess if you're a Seahawks fan, Al, the number one thing you're here tonight watching for is to see if Steve Largent can make his 100th touchdown reception and become the all-time leader in NFL history.
At the 42-yard line, first down for Seattle. As Craig hits Largent at the 20-yard line for another first down. Tackled by Kirby Jackson, and the Seahawks come out smoking.
And Frank, they don't waste any time getting Steve Largent catch number 1. The streak continues.
Such precise routes. He's working against Kirby Jackson, takes it down. Little move like he might take it upfield. Jackson bought it. He breaks inside and working with Steve Largent, Dave Craig. They have been together so long. It's a little bit different than it was Kelly Stauffer over the past week at Denver and the week before that. Totally different. They just work so well together.
Well, there it is with Seattle having the ball. Steve Largent last week, touchdown catch number 99, tying Don Hutson for that mark. You saw the other names in the top 5, and there he is. Split out to the right on 1st and 10 and sent in motion.
He was under there somewhere, but that was as fine an effort as Kurt Warner can give.
Steve Largent has trouble with the snap. It was a low snap, and Steve Largent scores the extra point. How great is that? The second time in his career he has done just that.
Great presence, too.
And you don't mean Christmas.
No. He knew he could never get that ball. It snapped a little low, and the way he handled it, he knew right away that he could never get it up. In time for the conversion, you'll see it again. The ball just a little low. He short hops it, but he knows right there, I got to get out of here.
Well, he knows where the end zone is, that's for sure.
Yeah, Grant Fiesel, the snapper, clearly delivered it low, and it was very good work by Largent, just handling the ball, getting it up to the point where Johnson could kick it if he wouldn't have already passed it. But as you mentioned, that's just fine presence of mind.
And another reason they have the sure-handed types handling the ball. As a holder, there it is.
You know, that's also a smart play by Johnson, finding himself in that situation and not going ahead and making some half attempt at trying to kick it. If he knocks that ball out of Largent's hands, it's got no chance of going through the uprights.
Yeah, he was the one who really had the presence. He just didn't even go through with it. Largent, reading that from Johnson, takes it off into the end zone.
Seattle on top. There it is, 602 points.
Wonder what we'd be talking about if in 1976 Houston had not decided to trade their 4th-round draft pick to Seattle for an 8th-round draft pick. That draft pick, of course, Steve Largent.
Well, clearly the San Francisco 49ers, the class right now of the NFC. Denver with the best record in the AFC, but
Dan touched on it a while ago. The 4-8 ball club. You like to see it in this game. Not that you want to see Buffalo go down, but at 4-8, these guys have played like they were contending for the division.
Well, what the crowd would really love here, but there's no way you can do it, I don't imagine, is throw the ball to Largent.
No, I think Chuck Knox thinks records are wonderful, but he's more concerned with his one-loss record than he is with Steve Largent's record.
They set Largent up. That's Largent as the safety valve at the 22.
No, they're not going to do anything with this ball other than sit on it. See, one thing Fred Smerlas did there by coming across and taking that penalty was stopping the clock.
Well, looking at the standings in the AFC East,
at the Jets.
This will be the final play of the game, and wouldn't you know it, for the first time in 24 games, Buffalo does not score a point in the 4th quarter. They had a chance to tie the NFL record and couldn't. And that 0 on the board spells a 0 for the night for the Buffalo Bills.
So the Bills and their road woes continue.
Today, it's the Seattle Seahawks versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
Very good playing conditions for mid-December in the Ohio Valley here at Riverfront Stadium, where the Bengals and the Seahawks are ready to tee it up. Craig was benched for 2 games, played very well Monday night. Extra wide receivers come in, and the people of Clark and Scansey to join Blades and Largent. 3rd down and about 11 with the ball is spotted. Craig from his end zone. That's a rip, and he makes a connection. It'll be short of the first down to Steve Largent, his 21st catch of the season. Of course, he's on the cusp of one of the great records in the game. He and Don Hudson tied with 99 touchdown receptions career. 1 more for Largent, and he has 3 more games to play as a Seahawk. He'll retire at the end of the season, and he sets the record, the new one. On 1st and 10. Play fake by Craig. He's looking downfield, and he makes the connection to Largent. He takes the ball at the 45-yard line. Gain of about 7 yards on the play. Largent in his 14th year. 2nd down and 16. Out pattern of Steve Largent. So again, he's right where he had to be. As he gets, it's unbelievable. He's right where he needed to go for the first down. They give the spot. Looks like he's going to have it. Ricky Dixon ran him out of bounds.
There's a timing pattern here. Another one of those. David Craig throws the ball before Largent turns around, and he's trying to get forward to try to get close to that first down.
Almost gets an extra yards from Fulcher.
Yeah. You got to know where Fulcher is at all times. That's called being a very smart receiver.
David Craig getting a lot of timing throws. Out pattern.
Watch out for Largent in that slot position. That's where he likes to work.
Next TD reception by Largent. He goes into the record book as #1 all time. Here's the throw to Largent. Touchdown! He breaks the record and scores the first points of the game for Seattle. So Steve Largent, the all-time receiver in catches and yards, now is the all-timer in touchdown catches. He surpasses the mark set a half-century ago by Don Hudson. His 100th career touchdown catch.
In the slot on your right-hand side, just runs right by the linebacker. There's a great open spot there. Largent finds it and just sets down. Makes a great catch.
He's
made 800 and some great catches. That's his 4th catch today for 35 yards and the all-important touchdown that takes him to the NFL record, surpassing Don Hudson.
And of more immediate importance, the Seahawks are right back in the game as Norwood Johnson hits the point after, and with 42 seconds to play in the first half, Cincinnati's lead is cut to 10-7. So Largent, the waiting is over. He makes the record-setting touchdown catch, and it really reflects his career the way he did it. Perfectly positioned, feet planted, outstretched hands. He comes down with the ball and keeps both feet in for the score.
Just a great play there. It's something that can't be underrated. Steve Largent, a very intelligent receiver, knows the defenses, knows where the empty spot is, finds it, sits down, and Craig just has to throw it to him. He's standing there all alone. Very nice catch to know where he is on the field and not let his feet drag out of the back end of the end zone. One of the greatest receivers to ever play in the National Football League. So consistent, and 100 touchdowns. That's twice as many as I scored.
And 50 is about more than just a handful of people scored. The Steve Largent retirement celebration is coming up following the Washington at Seattle game on Saturday, December 23rd. It'll be a post-game party that everybody in the Seattle area is invited to. It'll be held at the Washington State Convention and Trade Center. Admission is $10, and the proceeds go to help the homeless. It's on Saturday, December 23rd, after the Redskins at Seattle game.
Steve Largent, one of the great stories in the National Football League. A lot of times, the other end of the league gets a lot of publicity, but guys like this need more.
8:37 as you see left to play. Vegas hit 19 of 30 throws for 208 yards, 2 TDs, 1 intercept. There's a long ball. Largent makes the play. Steve Largent, the Hall of Famer, makes a Hall of Fame play at the 38-yard line of the Bengals. Going up between 2 receivers, a 33-yard gain on 3rd and 8.
And Ricky Dixon, number 29, is playing Largent to break this pattern off. And what Largent does, he keeps going and just follows the ball all the way in Great possession catch. He has been doing this year after year. This is signature. Should be, well, it's a little extra duty for Dave Craig, keeping an eye on the play, but that was signature Steve Largent right there. He has done that to every great cornerback.
On December 10th, 1989, Steve Largent finally sees the last meaningful NFL receiving record that had eluded his grasp.
Second down, 7. Meanwhile, Seahawks down 10-0. Cincinnati 10-yard line. Best penetration. Craig back the pass. Little pump fake. Now looks, throws to the end zone. There it is. Touchdown Seahawks. Number 100. And that long pursuit of Don Hubson's career touchdown reception in the NFL is over, and Steve Largent has number 100.
Yet with only 2 weeks until his retirement, Steve used that moment to give rather than receive. Seahawks radio announcer Pete Gross had been battling cancer for 2 years. And following the game, Largent presented him with his jersey as a symbol of friendship and support. For all fans, that single moment defined Steve Largent as a player and as a man, marking a graceful exit from the game.
He is not only a Hall of Fame football player, he is a Hall of Fame human being, a Hall of Fame father, a Hall of Fame husband. And these, I think, are the things that are important to Steve Largent as he goes through life. People will remember him for his football here in the Seattle area, but I think even more remember him as a human being.
For 14 years, opponents have tried to corral the Seahawks' Steve Largent, but he's always been able to jump the fence. Last week against the Bengals, Largent struck again with his 100th touchdown reception of his career and added yet another milestone. As he prepares to ride off into the sunset, he leaves a trail of records and accomplishments unmatched by any player in the history of the game. The Kingdome in Seattle sold out for the Seahawks against the Raiders.
Second and 8. Largent couldn't hold it right in his hands. Lionel Washington looked like he was trying to hold Largent up and not hurt him.
He was just, see, this is unnecessary. I mean, you know, Millard comes over to protect him, but really, Washington is just trying to pick him up so he doesn't fall down.
Largent certainly wasn't upset about it.
Well, here, they figure the man-to-man coverage, they can pick it. This is a rarity. One goes through Largent's hand. Now, Lionel Washington, he's not sure whether he has the ball. Now he's now he's just trying to hold him up. He doesn't want to dump him down. Of course, people in this stadium, they don't need a reason to boo. They don't care. You know, you hit Steve Largent, you deserve to get booed. I don't care what.
Across the 50, 45, 44-yard line of the Raiders. Brought down by Tom Benson, a gain of 13. He has now caught a pass in 176 straight games, extending his own record. I'm sure there are some in there he doesn't have, but I don't know what they are.
Just because I wouldn't want to try and find it. There it is. See what they do is they pick a little bit. What happens is one receiver goes out, Largent comes down underneath. He knows he's not as fast as a lot of people, so he uses that to his advantage.
2 games to go in a sparkling career. Second and 9 for Largent. Couldn't get there. Lionel Washington again had him covered very, very well. That time, Craig was just relying on Largent to outmaneuver Anderson.
Well, these corners of the Raiders,
Washington.
They'll allow the guys to go by. You know, they're not going to let them go by them. They run in front of them. See, Washington does a great. He knows exactly where the ball is going from the time it's let go. Lionel Washington does something. I remember working against him when he was with St. Louis, and he'd sometimes lose the ball. There, he has great vision. He's come a long way. Done a very good job as a.
It seemed like just another day in the office for Steve Largent. But obviously, this day would be different, one that Largent would never forget. It would be the last time Steve would go through his usual game day routine, a routine that has taken place 200 times during the 14-year span of Largent's illustrious career.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour, number 80, Steve Largent.
The pregame ceremony included faces from the past, his former Seahawk teammates, and of course his current ones. His family was there, his wife Terry, his 4 children, and Largent's mother Sue. The Seahawks showed their appreciation by giving Steve a couple of reminders of his Hall of Fame career, a sculpture and a painting by Leroy Neiman.
And last, Steve, we would like to unveil in the first member inducted into the Ring of Honor, Mr. Steve Largent.
Thank you for my family, and God bless America. Thank you.
From a franchise of just 13 years comes one of tomorrow's great legends. Because today, Steve Largent will catch his last pass and leave a legacy intact, one that was built more on desire than just talent alone.
Cincinnati 10-yard line, best penetration, break back to pass, little pump fake, now look. There it is! Touchdown Seahawks, number 100!
And it was Vince Lombardi who said, the harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. Two teams with a solid foundation, the Washington Redskins and the Seattle Seahawks, conclude the season with a battle under the dome, the Kingdome, before a capacity crowd this afternoon on CBS.
Just a few moments ago, Steve Largent, concluding a brilliant 14-year career, came out and was introduced for his final game.
Steve Largent.
Largent told us yesterday he didn't know if he was going to become emotional or not, but Dan, he just couldn't hold the tears back.
He had a number of former teammates with him. His family was on the field, his mother, his wife and children, and the people here in Seattle identifies so closely with Steve Largent and what he's meant not only to the football team, but this fine community here in the Northwest.
4 wide receivers on 3rd down and 5. Breaks pass off the hands of Largent. First time they've gone to him all day. Martin Mayhew was covering him well on, however, and that'll bring up 4th down, and Rodriguez will come in and kick.
Well, stop the presses. We won't see this very often. In fact, we won't see it much anymore after today. Steve Largent open in the middle. Ball's thrown just a little bit high, but that's right on the money, and I'm sure that Steve would be the first to admit he should have hung on to that one.
And Greg may be the second.
And you have the feeling that Art Monk has his sights set on a lot of Steve Largent's records. Right now, he's 159 receptions behind Largent. And at only 32 years of age, wouldn't surprise me at all if he continues to average 65 catches a year as he's done the last 10 years, that he doesn't pass Largent in the next 3. Both the same type of receiver, too, the possession type of receiver. Art Monk, though, has more speed, and the amazing thing about both of them is how hard they work and how dedicated they are to the position of receiver. A lot of pride.
And they haven't run the ball well, really, at all this year. 2nd down and 8. Craig is going for Largent. He's there, and he makes the catch. "21 yards to Steve Largent, his first catch of the game. Mayhew and Vaughn made the play.
Steve Largent working against Mayhew on the corner route. Watch the patience here, the deliberate move to get free, leaving the much faster Mayhew, and then at the very end, the trademark toes down, leaning out of bounds, and another reception.
Does that graphically indicate the kind of receiver Largent was? Huh?
That is as good as it gets right there. What's next for Steve Largent? Obviously the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is not every player's goal, it's every retired player's goal.
Maybe one Hail Mary attempt left. Craig gives it a try. And Largent had the ball bounce off of him after it deflected off for a group of receivers and defenders. Almost.
Would have been a perfect finish to the first half. That ball went directly to Steve Largent, and he just couldn't handle the carom.
It was just too hard with the carom, but that is the end of the first half here in the Kingdome.
Well, watch Largent. He's number 80, just kind of biding his time, waiting for this reflection or deflection as the ball hits off the pile and hits Largent in the left shoulder, and he might have gone in the end zone. Very patient on his part. Watches how Brian Davis goes up, knocks the ball right past Largent. Or that would have been a storybook Christmas tale.
Seahawks have won 3 in a row against pretty tough competition, knocking off the Bills, the Bengals, and the Raiders last week, following a dismal 4-game losing streak. But Chuck Knox stayed quiet, in control.
Breaks pass to Largent. First down. And a few more yards. Monty Coleman brings him down, a 20-yard gain.
Hard tackle from Coleman has Largent limping off the field here. This is really what you didn't want to see. Both Largent and Neil Olkowicz, playing in their last game, appear to have ankle injuries. Nice move away from Mayhew. Watch how he covers the ball up as he feels company coming.
Also, A.J. Johnson, the cornerback, limping off the field momentarily. Largent, who limped off the field, on the bench.
Craig getting some pressure, dumps it off to John L. Williams. Williams fights his way out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Good for the first down. Wayne Davis pushed him out of bounds.
We've been talking about Steve Largent and his pass-catching abilities, but this really sets him apart from the ordinary guy. Watch him working on Alvin Walton. He may have got away with a clip there because he definitely hit Walton in the back, but it's the effort that should be pointed out. Losing cause, always fighting.
And he admitted to us that despite the fact that the Seahawk management had tried to sort things out, it had been a week of distractions for us.
So many demands on him and on his time. Interviews, autograph sessions. The guy is as close to a perfect human being as I've ever met in the athletic field. Maybe the best ever receiver. Obviously, he has all the numbers to back up that claim.
He broke Don Hudson's 44-year record of 99 touchdown receptions till he broke it. And I think in the long run, you win with that kind of an attitude.
Well, you really do. The interesting thing here now for the Redskins as far as the finish of this game, here it is 4th down. Now, will Gibbs elect to bring in the field goal kicker, or will they just kneel on the ball one more time, give the Seahawks the ball back for one last play, and perhaps one more completion for Steve Largent?
14 seconds on the clock. 4th down. And the play clock had gone down to 10, so it'll be first down for Seattle with 31 seconds to go in the game, and Largent's going to come back in and give the fans who have remained here maybe one last thrill. So the thrills are over, and all it's going to be is a handshake in his final game.
Redskins will win 29-0. The Rams will have to win against New England tomorrow for a wild card.
Steve Largent, priceless performer.
Hey, good luck to you. Thanks.
Thanks. A long walk for a last time for a great performer in the NFL.
Everything. I know this is a very good moment, everything like that, but we just wanted to give you a little something from us guys, and everybody pitched in here. This is from you to you from us.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Like I said before, it's the friendships that count. They're lasting. It doesn't matter, win or lose. All that stuff's forgotten time. I know a lot of you guys feel bad for me, but don't do that. My career's been great. And, this game doesn't mean anything. And I don't have any bad memories at all. I just love you guys. I'll be around. You'll see me. Thanks.
Steven, take him out there.
I'm not sure how the ball club felt, but I know that it was a pretty emotional thing for myself, sitting there standing behind Terry and all the rest of the family, and watching Steve, and he's getting all these acknowledgments from everybody, and so well deserved. And
you gave him a special gift though as well, following the ball game. It was a very emotional scene there.
Yeah, it was. After the game, we all the players on the team pitched in, and we bought Steve a nice watch from Purcello's Jewelers. And it wasn't the type of game that we wanted to give him a watch after, but we said, okay, Steve, here's something from us to you, and we've enjoyed all the great memories you've given us, and thank you very much, and gave him the watch, and there he went again, and it was it was very emotional because it was from the teammates. It was a personal, private thing. We didn't want to do it out in front of everybody. We just kind of decided to do it in the locker room, and he was deeply touched by that as well.
Because of all the emotions surrounding Steve Largent's final game, did you feel that your football team was ready to play?
Obviously, I don't think we were ready to play, but I think, personally speaking, I think I was kind of affected by it early because, I could tell that there was, Steve was very emotional, and I felt that way, and I don't know about the rest of the team or how everybody felt, but I know when we started off the game, we were kind of flat, and the crowd was kind of flat, maybe because we didn't make any big plays and didn't score on the first drive, and it was just kind of a different feeling out there.
Just being out of the playoffs in that moment as well.
Well, yeah, the being out of the playoffs I don't think was as much a factor as it was Steve's last game, and how touching it was for the fans to, do everything they did for him, and for him being his last game.
Seahawks going to get the ball back. On this play, you're going to throw to Largent, and what a great catch.
He makes a good catch right on the sidelines with, he keeps his feet in bounds, typical Steve Largent. And
177 straight game?
Yep, he runs a nice little corner route. He gets the cornerback turned and freezes the safety here with a little move. The ball's already thrown. He comes out of it, and he knows right where the sidelines are and catches the ball, and he's out of bounds.
Great play. Now, last play of the first half. You're going to roll out, some 3 wide receivers down, Hail Mary pass, and Largent almost had the football.
He told me in the locker room at halftime, he said if he'd have been back about 3 or 4 more yards, the ball would have hit him right in the hands.
Right.
Because it went by him so quick, he didn't have time to really react to it. But, I mean, that would have been perfect Steve Largent thing there to catch that ball and walk into the end zone. And, you know, it would have been 13-7. It'd have been a whole different ball game.
Oh, it's an entirely different football game if that would have happened.
One guy that's just been really outstanding on our defense this year.
Now, Largent had only 2 catches in the ball game. He's going to be injured slightly on this play. This is going to be good for 20 yards.
Well, he gets his ankle rolled up on. You can tell he gets up and he's kind of gimping around. After a while, that wears off a little bit and he feels better. I just tell him to go take a rest there a little bit. And,
you'll be here in the ISO again to see.
He runs a quick out and get him the football. It's again, it's 3rd and 2 or something like that, and he makes a big catch and a big run after it, and just puts both his hands on the football. He doesn't want to fumble. Smart football player that he is, and you can see where they rolled up on his ankle. It wasn't really serious, just, you know, it's going to hurt him a little bit.
Over first down, deep in your own territory, and it looked for a moment like Largent was going to be able to come back in the game. Maybe you'd throw one more pass to him and finish it off that way.
Well, that would be nice, but, you know,
you elected not to do it.
What purpose would that serve, you know, to throw him one more? I don't know if he's going to break a whole bunch of tackles and run a touchdown, and I think the fans would maybe have liked to have seen him catch one more.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. The other thing is, though, that the Redskins did us a favor by not trying to score. I mean, I think they could have scored either a field goal or got a touchdown, and they went down on one knee. And I think, you know, Chuck and Joe Gibbs have a good rapport amongst them, 2 great coaches, and there really wasn't much more we could do with 30-some seconds to go. And you don't want to say you quit, but I think they did a practical thing at that time.
At that time when it's 29-0, and that's the end of the season.
You don't want to get nobody else hurt. I mean, you put Steve in there and you throw a pass to him, you know, he might get hurt or something because he already rolled his ankle over once. Something else could have happened to him. So in the long run, I guess the best thing is that Steve got out of this thing healthy and had a great football career, and the fans got to see him one last time. Even though we lost 29-0, I think most people remember the good things about Steve Largent rather than just this last game.
Oh, yeah.